Hey, how are you? My name is Jeremy. I'm going to be reading from this book, Leadership Theory and Practice by Northouse. Northouse. You get credit, Northouse. Chapter 7, Leader Member Exchange Theory, LMX. I'm in the section of criticisms. I'm on page 148. Chapter 7, page 148, criticisms. LMX theory also has some limitations. First, leader member exchange in its initial formulation, vertical dyad linkage theory, runs counter to the basic human value of fairness. Throughout our lives, beginning when we are very young, we are taught to try to get along with everyone and to treat everyone equally. We have been taught that it is wrong to form in groups or cliques because they are harmful to those who cannot be a part of them. Because LMX theory divides the work unit into two groups and one group receives special attention, it gives the appearance of discrimination against the outgroup. Our culture is replete with examples of people of different genders, ages, cultures, and abilities who have been discriminated against. Although LMX theory was not designed to do so, it supports the development of privileged groups in the workplace. In so doing, it appears unfair and discriminatory. Furthermore, as reported by McLean in 91, the existence of in-groups and out-groups may have undesirable effects on the group as a whole. Whether LMX theory actually creates inequalities is questionable. If a leader does not intentionally keep out-group members out, and if they are free to become members of the in-group, then LMX theory may not create inequalities. However, the theory does not elaborate on strategies for how one gains access to the in-group if one chooses to do so. If a leader does not intentionally keep out-group members out, and if they are free to become members of the in-group, then LMX theory may not create inequalities. That's good. Furthermore, LMX theory does not address other fairness issues, such as followers' perceptions of the fairness of pay increases and promotion opportunities, distributive justice, decision-making rules, procedural justice, or communication of issues within the organization, interactional justice, Scandura 99. There is a need for further research on how these types of fairness issues affect the development and maintenance of LMX relationships. A second criticism of LMX theory is that the basic ideas of the theory are not fully developed. For example, the theory does not fully explain how high-quality leader-member exchanges are created, Anand and others in 2011. In earlier studies, it was implied that they were formed when a leader found certain followers more compatible in regard to personality, interpersonal skills, or job competencies, but these studies never describe the relative importance of these factors or how this process worked. Ucol in 94. Research has suggested that leaders should work to create high-quality exchanges with all followers, but the guidelines for how this is done are not clearly spelled out. Fairhurst and Wu Bien, this guy's still going at it, in 2012, have found research into the construction of the LMX relationship, but more work needs to be done to substantiate and clarify guidelines. For example, the model of leadership making highlights the importance of role making, incremental influence, and type of reciprocal, but I can't say this word, reciprocity. Yeah. But it does not explain how these concepts function to build mature relationships. Similarly, the model strongly promotes building trust, respect, and obligation in leader-follower relationships, but it does not describe the means by which these factors are developed in relationships. Based on an examination of 147 studies of leader-member exchange, Shisham, Castro, and Kongsliker in 99 concluded that improved theorization about leader-member exchange and its basic processes is needed. Similarly, in a review of the research on relational leadership, Bien and Maislin and Ospina in 2012 point to the need for further understanding of how high and low quality relationships develop in leader-member exchange. Although many studies have been conducted on leader-member exchange, these studies have not resulted in a clear, refined set of definitions, concepts, and propositions about the theory. A third criticism of the theory is that researchers have not adequately explained the contextual factors that may have an impact on LMX relationships. Anand in 2011. Since leader-member exchange is often studied in isolation, researchers have not examined the potential impact of other variables on LMX dyads. For example, workplace norms and other organizational culture variables are likely to influence leader-member exchange. There is a need to explore how the surrounding constellations of social networks influence specific LMX relationship and the individuals in those relationships. Finally, questions have been raised about the measurement of leader-member exchanges in LMX theory. For example, no empirical studies have used dyadic measures to analyze the LMX process. In addition, leader-member exchanges have been measured with different versions of leader-member exchange scales and with different levels of analysis, so the results are not always directly comparable. Furthermore, the content, validity, and dimensionality of these scales have been questioned. That's the criticism section. Criticisms, Chapter 7, Leader-Member Exchange Theory. That's page 148 to 150. Pretty good.